back to the Beach Bum Bookworm. I am Tiffany. I'm so glad y'all found me again today. My channel is all about cozy mysteries and romance, and today we are looking at what romances I read in August. Yes, it is my August wrap-up. I love doing these videos because I just get to talk about the books I read, which is one of the most fun things for me to do. All right, tell me what you read in August, what you loved, what you didn't love, anything else that you want to talk about. Down there is a place to do it. On your way down to comment, don't forget to stop, hit the subscription and the notification bell. That's going to tell you when I put out new videos each and every single week. Let's just get right to it. In 3, 2, 1, go. The first book I read was Not Planning on You, right here. This is the second book in the Danvers series by Sydney Landon. I had read some of this series out of order, so I knew these characters, but I never had gotten their story. It's Susie and Gray. Really liked it. It was kind of not necessarily realistic, so they go on their first date, and Susie gets herself hurt, banged up, and Gray is going to take care of her, and he just moves her into his house. I loved it. I just didn't think it was the most realistic setup. I gave it 4 stars, 4 flames. Great addition. I love Susie and Gray. Like I said, I knew them. I just hadn't had their actual story. So the next one I read was Rocky Mountain Angel. This is the 4th book in the 6-Pack Ranch series by Vivian Arend, also on my serious list. So in this one, we have Gabe Coleman, and his love interest is Allison Parker. Allison's mom is dying of cancer. She doesn't want her mom to know that she knows that because her mom hasn't disclosed it to anybody. So she needs a plausible reason for moving back. Hence where Gabe comes in. They're going to fake a marriage. Okay, so y'all, I love fake dating tropes, fake marriage tropes, anything like that. So this one was so much fun. I loved the chemistry between the two characters. This series in general, going back to Rocky Mountain and seeing the banter between the boys and just all the new shenanigans. Loved it, loved it, loved it. 4 stars, 4 flames. This is pretty spicy, so make sure you take that into account. Enjoyed it, loved it. Next up is Fighting for You, another Danvers novel. It is number 4. So Sydney Landon is the author of this series. And this one wasn't my favorite of the series. It was actually probably my least favorite of the series. It's Ella and Declan. Ella is the virgin who has never dated and not really been around. And I'm just over that trope. I don't like it when it's perceived that she's good because she's a virgin. Like, I don't like when those equal each other because it's in the opposite way of saying, like, if you're not a virgin, then you're bad. And I can't stand that. We're in 2021, get over it. So it wasn't my favorite read. I gave it 3 stars, 4 flames. I will continue this series. I just don't, again, it had nothing to do with anything else. That is just not a trope or a fan or a theme that I am a fan of in any way. So next up we had One Baby Daddy right here. This is number 3 in the Dating by Numbers series, which is on my SAS list by Megan Quinn. This is the book that frustrated me more than any other book in the entire month of August. So our main characters are Hayden and Adeline. Hayden is a professional hockey player. Adeline is, I don't remember. They meet, they are instantly connected, and I loved it from right off the bat. And I'm not talking about like love at first sight because I can't do love at first sight. I don't believe it. It's okay if you do. Don't come at me. I'm just telling you I don't like it in books. But their chemistry was off the charts from the very beginning, which I do love. I love their banter. Was really, really, really happy. And then things fall apart as they do in romances to test their relationship. He gets traded on his to another hockey team, and Adeline falls apart. Like, I could not stand her from the second half of the book on, to the point where I was like, Hayden, you can do better. You can do better. I did not like her, which is sad because I really liked her in the beginning. Anyways, I love Megan Quinn. I'll read more. I gave it 3 stars, 4 flames, pretty spicy, but by the end of it, I didn't even want the 2 together. So next up, we had Hard and Fast right here. This is the second book in the Fast Track series by Erin McCarthy. Erin McCarthy, also on my sass list. And this one we have Imogen and Ty. Wasn't my favorite, probably my least favorite of the series. What is going on? I don't know. So Imogen is kind of, again, this seen as this very uptight, smart, and so somehow that makes you uptight because she's smart, at least in the way it's perceived by me in this book. I'm not saying that that's the intention, just saying how I felt about it. And Ty is a racetrack driver, and Imogen is going to do a grad thesis on marrying a racer because she sees this book about how to get a racetrack driver to marry you that this like racetrack groupie had. And Imogen's like, that's interesting. And she's studying sociology. So she's like, I'll do this grad school paper on it. And she has to do all this research. And in the meantime, her and Ty are hanging out, and he's like, is this about the research or is it about me? And of course, love ensues, but it just, I don't know. I just didn't feel it. I gave it 3 stars, 4 flames. We'll definitely continue, but not my favorite couple in the series because some of them I've absolutely loved. So the next book I finished was Up in Smoke. This is the 4th book in the Hot Shot series by Annabeth Albert. This is a male-male romance, and I absolutely love this series because the Hot Shots are, I know you don't know what this means, I'm sorry, smoke jumpers. And I am so fascinated with smoke jumpers because I'm like, y'all crazy, but we need you and I love you. And I'm very grateful for you, but y'all crazy. So in this one, Brant and Shane are the main characters, and Shane and his sister go skydiving for his birthday. He's kind of trying to make it big in the country music world. And his sister takes him skydiving, and they meet Brant. Brant ends up having a baby with Shane's sister. Shane's sister runs off, leaving Shane with the baby, and he's like, So he goes and finds Brant, and he's like, hey, this is your kid. And Brant's like, oh, I don't know. I was only with her once, and, we took protection, all this stuff. And I mean, he's not denying the baby. Don't get me wrong. He like has Shane, move in with him, and he's taking care, but he just wants to be sure that it's his kid. And they form a relationship. Really, really loved it. I love the concept of it. I didn't think that their relationship was the best relationship. I really like good chemistry, and I mean I liked them together, but I didn't love them together. I gave it 3 stars, 4 flames. Can't wait to read the next one. Actually, that's the last one in the series, but I have not read number 3 in the series because I can't find it. So it is part of my stash list, so I will continue looking for that, number 3 in the Hot Shot series. But I really, really enjoyed this one. So the next book is Rocky Mountain Rebel, number 5 in the 6-Pack Ranch series by Vivian Arend. Yes, another 6-Pack Ranch because it's on my serious list. And I got to get serious before the end of the year. So this one is Vicky and Joel's story, which I was so excited about because Joel and Jesse are twins in this series. We've seen a lot of them. We've seen a lot of them together. And I was so ready for one of them to get their own story. So I was so thrilled. Vicky has a reputation as being loose. I don't want to describe it as anything else, due to some of her family's choices and her protecting people, whatnot. And Joel is, of course, one of our Coleman brothers, and they kind of fake date to help each other out. And of course, they end up forming a relationship. Really, really, really enjoyed this one. Again, 1, because I wanted Joel's story, but 2, I loved how they were with each other. They were very, very considerate of each other's feelings and respectful of each other. He was very protective. She was very independent. I just really, really, really enjoyed them because he did protection right. It wasn't like he was trying to control or take over, but he also was always behind her in everything that she did. I loved seeing their relationship grow. I gave it 4 stars, 4.5 flames. Really, really good. Next up, we have Like Lovers Do. This is the 2nd book in the Girls Trip series by Tracy Livesay. I need to figure out how she says her darn last name because I read the first one and I still don't know. Loved this series. Please tell me that there are more coming out. So I love the banter in between the friends and between the two in this particular series. This was a friends to lovers, which is not my favorite trope, but Tracy did it justice. Loved it. So our main character, female main character, is a resident doctor, and she lives with a guy who she rents a room from, but they've become friends, and he's got to go back to his hometown because his friends who are married are going to do Engineers Without Borders, and they're having a going away, and his ex-girlfriend who wants him back is going to be there, and he's like, ugh, I don't want any part of that. So he takes along our female main character. I cannot remember their names. I'm very sorry. His name is Ben. Her name is Nicole. So he takes Nicole along to try to keep his ex-girlfriend away from him, who is a nasty, nasty woman. But in the midst of them pretending to be a couple, of course, feelings ensue. Again, it was a friends to lovers, but probably the reason I loved it so much is because fake dating, hello, it's one of my favorite tropes. But I also loved, like I said, the friendship between the characters. I love everything about this series. I just hope that there is a lot more to come. I gave it 4 stars, 4 flames. Let me round it up to 4.5 because as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I just really, really enjoyed it. So next up, we have Full Throttle right here. This is the 7th book in the Fast Track series by Aaron McCarthy. And this one, so our main characters are Sean and Rhett. They meet at a BDSM club. Sean is there to just kind of play around with her friends and laugh and kind of joke about the situation sort of thing, I guess. And she dances with this guy who says his name is Rhett. She thinks it's a joke as in his name, like Rhett Butler. And she's like, no, what's your real name? He's like, Rhett. They don't really exchange numbers, or she calls herself Scarlett, so he doesn't even get her real name. She is pulled out of the club by her friends. But she's pulled out of the club by her friends because one of her friends is married to Rhett's brother. And she's like, oh my God, what is Rhett doing at this BDSM club? I got to get out of here before he sees me and tells my husband. So, of course, they have a way to reconnect. Sean owns a dirt racing track. I don't know if it's dirt, but a racing track. And dirt track. And she has always worked there with her grandfather who recently passed away. And he does leave her the track, but with the stipulation that she has to be married to continue getting the money and all that stuff. So she talks Rhett into marrying her. Fake dating, fake marriage. Yes, I'm in. I gave it 4 stars, 4 flames, enjoyed it. So next up, we have Spoiler Alert right here. This is the first book in the Spoiler Alert series by Olivia Dade. I gave it 3 stars. I really wanted to love it. It's a plus-size heroine. She writes fan fiction, and Marcus is part of the show that she writes fan fiction about, and they end up going on this date through social media, but then they end up really liking each other. I just wanted more. I can't even tell you what was missing. I think maybe some of it is I just really prefer indie published romances to mainstream. I'm not saying that I don't want to go in with a perceived notion of that, but I don't know if that's where the piece was missing for me. I'm not really sure. Gave it 3 stars, 3 flames. We'll read the second one, but I just really felt like something was missing. Next up, I read Well Met right here. This is the first book in the Well Met series by Jen DeLuca. Wanted to love it. Again, I really wanted to love this series. It's a Renaissance fair romance series, which sounds absolutely fabulous. Gave it 3 stars, so I didn't think it was fabulous, but I really enjoyed it. Solid read. Will read the next one. I just thought I'd enjoy it more. And again, that's where I came to the conclusion that maybe it's a publishing thing. I don't know. I don't know what it was. That was my wrap up for August romance releases. Tell me what you read. Tell me what you enjoyed. Tell me what you thought you were going to enjoy more than you did, or that you were surprised about and gave 5 stars to. All right. Until next time, may all your future reads be 5 stars. Bye, everyone.